every single time I like crop it down, you always do this. When you're talking, you're very movie talkier. Like you love to move when you talk, and so I spend like
Are we beefing?
We're literally beefing. Yeah, I spend 3 minutes every single time readjusting because your ass moved somewhere. Just wanted to let you know.
Welcome back to the Pitlane Pals F1 podcast. This week we have the Austin Grand Prix preview, and I am so excited because we have gone four very, very long weeks without a Formula One race since Singapore last month. And I feel deprived. I feel robbed of my happiness, but I'm finally getting it back, and that's all that matters. So, addressing Austin, I want to note that we are recording this before FP1 or FP2 are taking place later today. And so we might not be fully, up to date on anything. Just to clarify, that happens in practice. But for now, we have some predictions today and just some general race talk. There's big news in the Gunther Steiner department.
Oh, there is. There is, true.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Gunther Steiner has opened up his own Airbnb.
Oh, I actually did not know that. Actually?
Yeah, no, I just thought it was funny. He has a house like right next to his that you can now rent in Germany somewhere.
Oh my god, I'm
can
going.
Can you go stop by there and can you record a pod? Can I go to Germany and then we'll rent that place and then we'll record an episode in the Gunther Steiner Airbnb?
Where is it? Do you know where it is?
Checking with the production team.
Check with the production team.
It is. I have it pulled up pretty quickly. I think actually, it's in his own bed and breakfast in. And now, don't cook me here.
You're gonna be cooked 100%.
Murano.
What?
Oh wait, maybe it's not Germany. It said he was where he's born and raised, and he is German. No.
I think he was born
South
in
Tyrol.
Austria.
Tyrol. Oh, was he born in Austria? That's upsetting. Well, we can go to Austria.
Common mistake,
that
buddy.
Would explain. Okay, well, I fully thought he was German.
No, I think he was actually he was born in Austria, because he's also got a very, very harsh accent, and like Germans are obviously known
too harsh
for a harsh accent, but like an Austrian accent with English as well is like even harsher. Basically, is what I'm trying to say here.
Well, then we can both go on vacation to Austria.
I'm so down.
And we'll record an episode in the Gunther Steiner villa,
Gunther Steiner
the bed and breakfast.
Should I say his name?
Am I saying it wrong?
You're not. You always it's like.
That's just like the general consensus of how people say it, and I just pick it up based on
fair. I think this is like the Charles Leclerc debate, because you would actually say like Gunther Steiner.
Gunther Steiner.
Perfect, mate. Spot on.
You're really bringing out my German heritage.
Yeah, I am. I actually am.
Ich bin como aus Deutschland.
I was so wrong. It's either way. Either way. It's okay. That was terrible.
Anyways, more actual serious news.
Speaking of terrible,
I do want to talk. Oh, go ahead. You sound like you got something.
Did you see Alpine's livery?
Dude, that's exactly what I was about to transition into. And not only the livery, the fucking pictures and videos of Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly wearing the worst suits I've ever seen with these stupid cowboy hats on. Oh my god, it's bad.
What did they think?
It's really bad.
What did they think? You can't tell me they were thinking anything. Like, what? The lines on the suit?
Oh man, Jesus. No, it's bad. It's mildly concerning. I don't know who the designer was, and I don't mean to shit on your livelihood and what makes you an income, but where did we go wrong? I don't want to talk too much about the liveries yet, because I would like to do a livery rating towards the end.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that one I did want to shit on, and specifically the terrible pictures and videos of Esteban Ocon wearing these stupid ass cowboy hats, and like I don't know how to explain it, but Pierre Gasly does not look like Pierre Gasly when this helmet is being worn or when this hat is being worn. It just he looks like a new person, and it's freaking me out. He looks like a French guy in a cowboy hat. No,
Mm-mm.
that doesn't work. Like nothing is less French than being American. Why? Why?
Such a banger quote. Nothing is less French than being American.
Yeah, no, seriously. One thing I do want to talk about though, in more actual racing news, is the fastest lap point has been removed from 2025 onwards. And I do think it's really interesting that they decided to make that decision right after the Daniel Ricciardo fastest lap incident. And I have a couple things. Well, it was never really something I cared about much before because 1 point doesn't always make that big of a difference and usually doesn't. And it was never something that I thought was unfair, and I thought it was kind of a cool strategic thing sometimes. But the thing is that it definitely has been used less to reward somebody for just getting the fastest lap and more to let's go get the fastest lap for the point. And that, now we've seen Daniel Ricciardo do that to help Max Verstappen from a separate team, essentially. And when that is probably something where we should be like, okay, yeah, maybe this is not something we should be using still. And so I don't hate the decision. It makes sense. Maybe there could have been a weird in between. Like if we could have regulated it somehow, that would have been cool, but that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty neutral on the decision, but like I do think maybe it might be for the better because I don't think we're rewarding you for being the quickest on a lap. We're just we've been intentionally going for the fastest lap, and that's two different things.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, we also kind of touched up on this on the last podcast. It was a nice idea, but I think this is a rare FIAW where they decided to ban it in the in the right decision in my mind, because at the end of the day, like, it's always a nice idea to have, okay, that one extra point for the fast lap of the race, sure, but like coming back to it, one of the main reasons why they banned it must have been that this one extra point has been used in a very, very wrong way. Like a sister team is used to aid in the championship, so the championship leading battle is going to be maybe decided by literally that 1 point that was stolen by a sister team, which is something in racing where it's like, what's the point of that? It's like,
and I know I said that, like, obviously a 1 point does not usually make that big of a difference, but this is still a sport of seconds, milliseconds, and I think anything can matter, especially on, who knows how it's going to play out now, and again, Lando and Max are very, very close. And I think it's interesting that the fact that the FIA saw this, and this is like, they didn't say it was directly because of this, but obviously they made this decision right after the incident in Singapore with that, and I think that also shows more like, okay, yeah, we're not delusional for being suspicious about the intentions behind it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I don't hate the decision. I think it was a bit shocking.
I didn't expect it, to be honest. I thought this was something where like FIA just tends to like kind of put it on the bed and not talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's been quite the quick decision, and as I already said, I think it's a good decision. The only thing where I could have like kind of understood it back in the day when they decided to add it would have been if everyone were to get the point. We talked about Stroll's weird try to get the fastest lap even though he was out of the points, so they couldn't receive it, which was still fumbling in my head. I don't know why he did that, but if you would have made it so everyone was able to get the point, the end of the race would have pretty much looked like 15 to 20th, all going into the pits, all going on softs, all trying to get the fast lap, which is obviously also not the point,
No. Yeah. I agree. I think it's just a bunch of. it was something that in concept, if you keep it to what it's supposed to be and related to, let's reward you for just getting the fastest lap, that's normal. But obviously teams are going to go for the fastest lap, and that's two different things. And I don't think we need, that's not bringing anything to the sport, and probably just taking away from the merit. One thing I do want to talk about, a big future of F1 topic is that Toyota is entering a technical partnership with Haas. And I think this is a brilliant move for a team that really needed something.
Yeah.
And I think could be something that, I mean, Toyota 100% has the resources and the research facilities and all this that they can bring to Haas to make them a truly competitive team, which I think is great. Like, and I'm all for every team having a fair shot at actually being successful, and Haas is one of those outliers that is a smaller team and does not have the money or the funding. I mean, I remember seeing a stat, actually, you don't even need to see a stat. Every week, what they bring to the race track, like with their 3-person, they have like three people in their little what is it called, like their
Motorhome.
I forget what those are called. Yeah, but no, like their motorhome is small too, but like those where they all sit on the radios and like they press the radio buttons
pit
and
wall.
stuff. The pit wall, yeah, sorry, I don't know why I couldn't remember that very basic phrase. Kick me out of this podcast, that's bad.
Get him out.
Yeah, no, but seriously, like their pit wall is dramatically smaller than everyone else's, and they obviously just don't have the money, and they've managed to be decent as of late. They've had really rough patches, and they're obviously not a team that has the funding right now to ever be like successful, like winning, unless they get lucky every once in a while or just happen to have a random Braun GP moment.
K-Mag pole in Brazil.
Yeah, for real, dude. But unless they just happen to magically get something right, it was never gonna be a team that was gonna have the resources to keep up with the likes of McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm glad to see this move. I think this is a very good move for them because they're keeping the Haas branding. It's still the Haas Formula One team, but now it's going to be the Haas Toyota probably, or something, like however they'll phrase the name. And it's going to be a mutual 50-50, I think, development, or at least Toyota's going to have a large say in the development of the car, which I think, actually here, I have it pulled up. TGR will provide design, technical, and manufacturing services to Haas, while Haas will offer technical expertise and commercial benefits in return. So basically, it's just saying that Haas has they've been in Formula One for a while, they know where they're at, and they know the landscape, and so they can give the research and the benefits in that way, the knowledge that they already have. Toyota has the resources and the money and the engineers and the money to pay good people, and so I think this is a great move for them. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
100%. I fully agree with you. Something that did shock me, which was, I think I saw it on Instagram somewhere. Because of this signing of Toyota, Haas is able to get their first own simulator. First own F1 simulator. Before, they didn't have their own simulator. They were paying Ferrari to use their F2 grade simulator. And this is like I've actually seen some posts about this, and that's so crazy to me. I feel like nowadays a sim is like normal for an F1 team. Like that's I thought it was that way. But like as I made news that Haas never had their own sim and they were renting the F2 grade sim. That's actually pretty crazy. And moving forward, like I looked into it a bit. They weren't allowed to rent the F1 simulator because there's some rules on this that every single F1 sim that exists has to have their own software, like team software. So they couldn't have gone to the Ferrari HQ and been like, "Oh, can we try your simulator?"
Got it.
They're not allowed to. So that's why they rented the F2 sim.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I actually did not see that. And I did just look it up that was the first move they decided to make with Toyota resources. Haas was fucking playing with scraps, dude.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
The fact that they've even scored points in Formula One is really a miracle.
Yeah, it's insane.
I will say, I loved Gunther.
Just wait. You say the sentence. I say the name.
I really did love
Günther Steiner.
But I do think, ever since he's left, there has been some good steps in the right direction.
Even though I was very sad that he left, I feel like Haas lost the letter.
I feel like Haas was
Günther Steiner. Sorry, I don't know when you want to say the name. It's terrible.
I know. No, but I do think he was a big part of their identity, and they definitely brought them some money marketing wise. But obviously, I mean, I didn't think it was his fault. I was a big defender saying it was not his fault, and nothing. You know, they just don't have the money, and Gene Haas isn't putting anything into it. But this, obviously, having a Japanese team principal now, being able to make a deal with a company like Toyota,
very
right
beneficial. And
yeah.
Also, since I don't know, I presume you also watched Drive to Survive. In Drive to Survive, something very funny with Haas was I forgot his name, but the now team principal used to be a normal engineer, like a pit wall engineer. And whenever something happened and whenever something went wrong, he was always at fault. Always. You had Günther fucking ranting to this guy. Something he couldn't have even done. Like, literally, there was, like, I think a crash with Kevin and somebody else. You had Günther mad at the guy. Like, it was really hilarious to see. But
that's funny.
It's definitely been in the right direction. 100%. It was the right decision.
Looking back, it seems like a lot of things have started to go right. Obviously, I will say that this year has been technically Steiner's car. But there has been... Well, I mean, you have to think about the fact that this car this year was developed by Steiner.
Oh, okay.
Well, under his leadership at least. But again, this was the technical director, so it's like it was probably largely this guy's car too. Anyways, or sorry, Komatsu's car. I don't know. I keep calling him this guy. Like I don't know his fucking name.
Oops.
But you did not know his name, did you? It's okay. No, I think the fact that Komatsu does come from a Japanese lineage is definitely helping with the Toyota connections, possibly, which I think is interesting. Obviously, that's a big thing in Formula One is nationality connections. I mean, Honda always wanted, Japanese drivers, hence why Red Bull had Yuki for a bit, or at least that's why people thought Red Bull might have had Yuki for a bit, or at least why they went out to get him was because Honda wanted that when they were their engine supplier and stuff like that. So obviously that plays a big role, and I don't think it's completely illogical to think that connection's helping.
Yeah.
As well as obviously his leadership is finally seeing some change in the right direction, and I don't know whether that is fully on him or if it was Gene Haas deciding to suck it up and swallow his pride and be like, fine, I'll let somebody else actually put money into the team. But the team has been successful decently this year, and not like a dumpster fire, and the future's looking a little brighter. So, hey, they got a simulator.
They got a sim. Finally.
Did you see the quote that Lando said in response to Max basically saying that the Drivers' Championship was unrealistic?
No.
So, Max basically claimed that the F1 World title was unrealistic for Red Bull, and that he needs to make himself better. Which is funny, coming from the person who's leading the championship.
Is he talking about constructors or is he talking about drivers?
That's what I saw a lot of people were confused about, but Lando responded as if he was talking about drivers. And so that's where I'm going to go with that. Because Lando said, even if I win every race, catching him is still not an easy thing to achieve, so he is easily the one in the better position. I would rather be in his position than my position. As soon as Red Bull can figure out what they've got wrong, I expect them to win a few races, to be fixing their problems and come back strong again. It's not like they've been that far off at every race. Monza was probably their worst race, but Max has still been not far off in many races. He is certainly close to winning. And I think he just says it just to make himself feel a little bit better and is still in a much stronger position than I am.
Jesus Christ.
Getting a little feisty.
Getting a
And
little feisty.
I don't necessarily disagree. I do think saying that you have the disadvantage is a little interesting. Obviously, you're not in the fastest car right now, but let's be honest, you have a decent point advantage, and Lando would have to be very successful in these last races to catch you. And while I do think it's possible, I'd rather have, control over it and not be dependent on, like, Lando is dependent on Max's results right now. Max can determine his own fate.
Yeah.
Red Bull can determine their own fate right now, and not in the constructors as much, if that is what is being addressed, but in the drivers at least.
Yeah. Lando, also, Jesus, German just popped out there. Max is definitely in the more comfortable situation. It's always better to be defending and not to be chasing, and especially as Lando, who's shown to be very, very, very scared sometimes, and like not scared, but like, let's just say he doesn't really put up too well with the pressure, especially on race starts, especially on holding the lead, on doing the right decisions in first place. For him, with his strengths, 100% defending would be better for Lando right now. And Max, if the car is right, Max can be consistent. So it's definitely, drivers is definitely very, very undecided yet. Everything can happen. I mean, if Red Bull goes into the wrong direction again, then I think Lando will be taking it. But if Red Bull's able to get out a really, really good car, and actually even a car that can at max get like P3 or P4 or something, Verstappen's going to get P2 out of it. So it's like, it's going to be quite the interesting thing to watch, 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, it is Max Verstappen though, and
It is Max Verstappen.
And Max is this, out of the drivers that are currently on the grid, the second greatest of all time out of all of them already. Love Fernando Alonso, but he has 2. Max has 3.
That's what I say.
And so I do think, and he's on the verge of his 4th, and that's a driver that you cannot count out in any position. And so even if Red Bull can get that car just to be just decent enough, it's going to be very difficult for Lando to actually overtake Max at any point. There would have to be some faults. Max doesn't really make mistakes, so you can't depend on any spins. Maybe the occasional DNF because of an engine issue. You might need 1, maybe 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then you have to consider the sprints too. He has to be good in the sprints. But it's Max Verstappen. I'm never going to count Max Verstappen out, unfortunately, for Lando. And I'd much rather be in Max's position. And I think Lando is right about that. And I think Max is I think he knows what he's doing by saying that. And that's fine. But, like, let's be honest, you're not in the worst position right now.
Have you seen
Red Bull as a team might be.
Red Bull? Yeah, exactly. Have you seen that Red Bull currently has an illegal part on that car?
No.
This might be source TikTok, so production team, please get on it as you. I saw a post where I believe it was the side part, the lower part of it, was marked, and there was like an outline basically talking about how Red Bull's been in talks with the FIA about their illegal part they've been having on the car. If you're nodding, I presume that means you found something that supports what I'm saying.
So Red Bull is accused of making a legal car change before race, and Oscar Piastri actually has a quote on this, which is what I'm digging for right now. Piastri called out Red Bull for breaking the boundaries of the regulations. FIA swiftly responded with a statement assuring that teams it would closely monitor the situation, implement protocols to prevent any regulation breaches. However, it later emerged the team under scrutiny was Red Bull. Red Bull acknowledged the presence of a front bib clearance device located on the RB20's floor. In addition, it also revealed discussions with the FIA on the matter, and it said it will be making changes to the Red Bull 20 F1 car.
That must have been what I've seen.
Yeah, so I think that must be what it is. I guess they said they're going to change it, so we'll see if that results in a drop of performance or if it's fixed. We'll see. But that's interesting. I did not know that, actually. I did not see anything about that. Of course, when McLaren had their issue, it was the end of the world for everybody. But when Red Bull has their issue, no one's really talking about it as much. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, Helmut Marko says that both Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda will compete for the Red Bull seat in 2025. So that's basically confirmation that probably whoever wins that might genuinely get a shot at Red Bull in 2026. That's exciting.
100%. Very, very exciting.
I like Liam Lawson. I do hope, out of complete bias, that Yuki is the one that comes out on top, because I just think that he's been playing this game for so long.
I agree.
And I really want to see him at least get the opportunity that I do think he deserves. As long as he can, like we talked about before on other episodes, keep his cool and shut the fuck up on the radio a little bit. I do think that he's quick. And I do, if you're going to ask me who I think will win the fight, I do think, probably due to experience and some other factors, Yuki will probably come out on top. Not a shot at Lawson. I just do think Yuki has proven time and time again that he's very good against his teammates often. And I have no reason to bet against him. I wouldn't be like, no way Liam Lawson is beating him. Like, if that happens, like, I'd get it. That could definitely be a possibility. But if you're asking me which way I'm leaning, I lean the Yuki Tsunoda direction. And I think it'd be fun to see Yuki and get a shot at Red Bull, because it's been so talked about for so long against teammate after teammate that maybe that's what they need to promote.
Yeah.
And if you finally give him a fair shot against Max, and obviously I'm not saying he'd ever beat Max, but maybe he'll actually be able to pull some results out better than Checo Perez does. So I'm looking forward to seeing the battle next year. That's gonna be something definitely like very interesting to watch all year next year.
I just feel like Yuki's been through it. It's so bad. Yuki's been through it. Yuki's beat his teammates now for the third time, I believe.
Well, I think he may have either tied or slightly beaten Liam Lawson when he came in for a few races, but he did lose to Pierre Gasly, of course, but that was young Yuki Tsunoda. Then he got a lot better, whooped Nick de Vries, went kind of neutral with Liam for about 3 races, but I don't think he lost to Liam. I think it was either neutral or slightly out on top.
I think so too.
But Liam did well, which is why he's driving now. He's getting his shot to prove it again. And then whooped Daniel Ricciardo out of F1. And so I think this man has had to. It's always. I think the thing is that whenever people consider who their first option is for this Red Bull seat, it's always whoever Yuki's going against and not Yuki himself, which I just think is strange.
It's so unfair at the same time, because why now? You know, at the same time, if Yuki's beat all of his teammates, not all of them, but like, you know what I'm saying, Nick de Vries, Liam Lawson, Daniel Ricciardo, why now is there going to be like, ooh, we're now going to be deciding for the next year who's going to be getting the Red Bull seat? It's like,
why not before?
Yuki's been in the trenches. He's been fighting this long, and all of a sudden, where he's like, he's been through 3. Obviously, the second one is coming back now, but it's like, why now? You know, why do the things that he did before not count? You know,
it feels like, specifically with Daniel Ricciardo, the condition was, if Daniel beats Yuki, he gets promoted. If Yuki beats Daniel gets dropped. And that was the condition.
So crazy.
And that's very strange.
So strange.
Why was it never just, if Yuki beats Daniel, he gets promoted? Like, why was that never a condition of the situation? And I mean, let's be honest, Yuki beating Daniel is impressive. I mean, Daniel's still an 8-time race winner.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's strange.
It's
I do feel bad for Yuki.
It's super, super strange. But I think I also saw something on Horner. I think Horner said this. It might be that this could have been like with wrong dates. but I'm not sure. I think he actually even said that for next year, they're not forgetting that Ricciardo is a very, very strong driver, and he's an 8-time race winner. So if both end up not doing too well, Ricciardo might get the seat. I think that's something I have seen. I am not sure if that's true. I'm just saying I saw something on it, and I would, if that were the case, I personally think that's so shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Production team's looking into it right now.
Sorry, production team has a lot to do today.
Production team is busy today.
Because I'm just gonna explain why I think that this is so bad. I feel like something that has been holding Ricciardo back through his end of the career has been that there's always been this, Ricciardo's back now because he did well one race. And I feel like if you look into how a lot of teams take care of drivers and deal with drivers, Ricciardo has really been getting the puppy treatment every single time. A lot of drivers get kicked out of F1 way harsher than Ricciardo has ever been dealt with. Because he's always been like, oh yeah, he did terrible here and here, but he's still an 8-time race winner, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just something, keeping this wish of Ricciardo performing alive. It's just, I mean, the man did he did a post on Instagram with a cap that literally says like, I'm in retirement or something. Did you see that?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't see anything on the article.
Okay, then it's
this quote directly. But what I will say is I wouldn't be too concerned about it because Helmut Marko apparently, I did see this quote from Christian Horner that Helmut Marko apparently wanted Daniel Ricciardo out in May when the Miami Grand Prix took place. And this is actually Christian Horner confirmed this, at least, that Christian Horner was the only one fighting to keep Daniel's seat. So anything that Christian Horner may or may not have said probably comes from a place of just like he really likes Daniel for some reason. They're probably just friends, and he seems to implement this weird bias in defending him. And despite the fact that Helmut Marko literally apparently wanted him out months ago, and I can respect Helmut Marko for that decision. I often think Helmut Marko's a little harsh, but let's be for real. Like
he kind of been out a long time ago. There.
He kind of cooked there. Yeah. No, I definitely don't see a world where Daniel comes back, or at least
think so
no
either.
offense to Daniel Ricciardo, but I hope not.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what else? Oh, yeah, I guess we can talk about some liveries. The Alpine livery we already kind of addressed briefly. It is rough. It is no word other than I don't even know what they were going for. It's just kind of orange. It's like, oh, let's make the Alpine car orange, and that doesn't work at all. I'm pulling it up again right now to refresh my memory on this car that I looked away from right away.
I will pull it up as well, but I'm just gonna say I believe it's the cooperation with the Indiana Jones movie that's coming out, I believe. And
okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. And I feel like they could have done so many things. They could have done a really, really, really cool car. But like it's just a bit of yellow. It's just a bad McLaren.
It's McLaren if their orange was not papaya colored.
Yeah.
And it was just ugly. Yeah.
It's so bad.
I don't like it at all. I also think the race suits are even worse. And I don't know. If I was to give this, I don't even want to talk about this too long because we kind of already shit on it earlier. But if I was to give the Alpine livery a rating, like a 2 point, no 2, just a 2. A 2.
Okay, I will say this. I just saw something that this is for the video game, the Indiana Jones. So it's not a movie premiere.
Okay.
Which is a first as far as I know.
Okay.
Nevertheless, It's still extremely ugly. It's
Mm-hmm.
terribly made. There's nothing special about this. If you were to show me this livery, I couldn't tell you what the corporation was. You didn't even know that it was with Indiana Jones because nobody can tell.
No idea.
There's nothing about this car that screams Indiana Jones. And that's kind of the part of having a special livery in combination with a movie or a game to make
That
it
people can
seem like something of this car is connected to the game. Doesn't look like that. The race suits are super ugly. I don't know who thought that painting the lines is a great idea. It looks absolutely terrible. I'm literally going to be giving this livery at 1.5. It's horrible.
I respect you going down on my rating even. I thought I was going low, but I appreciate you shooting lower. I do appreciate it. In other news, a fan favorite, McLaren brought back their chrome livery this week in Austin. And I think the chrome livery is beautiful. I will say it will lose some points just because it's a reused one. But overall, it looks clean. I love the chrome. I love chrome on vehicles. I think it doesn't ever really make sense, obviously, like on a day-to-day car or in any other situation. But on this car in this way with the papaya and the way the way they separate the chrome, it's beautiful. It's a pretty car. It's a very pretty car. No complaints really. Do they have race suits this weekend? McLaren?
I don't think so. I think they're the same race suits.
They don't. It's just
Thank
the car.
God.
Yeah, it's just the car.
I feel like it could have been quite the wrong move again.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. It's been done before, but chrome looks pretty. I do like it.
Okay.
I don't think it's the prettiest they've ever done. I'm a massive fan of their
I don't think so either.
Golf Monaco livery. I loved the Triple Crown livery. This
I
one,
also love their Brazil or their Ayrton Senna tribute.
yes. This one is nice. Has been done before. It's okay. It's cool to look at. I'm gonna give it a 4. I think 4 is a fair rating. I'm a bit harsh with liveries. I love myself a good livery, and it's just something you've done before. You know, it's not really a special livery. It's if it's not special because you've already had it. So
I was more gonna go in the direction of like a 7.5.
oh wow. Okay.
No, I was very much on the opposite end of the spectrum here. I love this livery. I think it's still very pretty, regardless of being done before, and regardless of them having other better liveries. This is an upgrade from their original. I just love chrome. I think I'm a little biased. I also like the play on of the chrome. I think chrome being their sponsor. I think that's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And it works. It's pretty. I don't know. I love it. 7.5 and 4 are dramatically different versus our 2 and our 1.5. So interesting. Haas every year does do Austin liveries because they are technically an American team with absolutely no Americans in the building. They do this every year. It's nothing too crazy. It's just a little American flag on there. I mean, it looks a little different than it did before. I will say I do really like the Toyota sponsor on the back of their rear wing now, though. I know that's not a special livery because that's going to be permanent, but it's cool looking. It looks really cool. It looks pretty. It looks I really like it. I really, really like the way that looks, actually.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to let that give me bonus points for the livery. The livery, though, in general, is like nice. I like the stars on the front wing, and the flag is what it is. I'd say it's a 5.5.
5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. I actually really like it. I think they cooked. And there's just one part that really, really, really like makes this livery really cool for me. And I really like the eagle on the side. The eagle on the Haas written out at the H. That's fire.
It's cool.
That is pretty cool. That is very, very cool. And also with like the black part than at the back with the monogram. It looks so clean. Actually, I was gonna say that I don't really love the front spoiler, but I obviously respect your opinion with the stars.
We had like the opposite things we liked about it.
This round is really, really bad. Last time we were pretty spot on in Singapore on our opinions. Whew. I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right. That's fair. We're a bit different on. I mean, I like the Haas livery. I just think I'm a bit more. I think I've just seen stuff like it before, so I'm kind of numb to it.
Had they had the Eagle on
liveries
before ever?
No, that's
the Eagle's new, right?
But that is a cool addition. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give props where it's due. I just wish I noticed it more.
True.
On like a track. I don't know if I'll notice. Again, we are recording this though before FP1, so I actually have no idea what it looked like on track.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We've got a couple of helmets. But I feel like Austin helmets are always just like.
Yeah, they're not. It's not like Singapore helmets.
It's not like Singapore. I've seen Oscar's helmet, and it's just like
Lando doesn't have one.
It's just
Oscar.
I'm gonna say this.
It's all right. It's just Texas.
I'm gonna say this. It's like Austin is a race where the special helmets are like obviously Texas themed, but they're not like pretty. I feel like Piastri is a great example of a helmet which has a lovely theme, but it's not a pretty helmet.
What I find really funny about this is that as somebody who is from the Southwest American area, his helmet has saguaro cactus on it. Texas does not have saguaro cactus all over the place. Lord. Saguaro cactus only exists in the Sonoran Desert, which is largely pretty much an Arizona and Mexico thing, northern Mexico, most southern Arizona thing, and it spreads into like a couple of the bordering states.
Bro knows this cacti.
No, I'm serious though. This shit pisses me off because it's like our go-to cactus in like media and any form of anyone who's not from the desert. They just default to using saguaro cactus. If you're trying to make a Texas helmet, you don't put saguaro cactus on there. It looks like Arizona.
I'm gonna say this. You can look through every single comment on that post. There's not gonna be a single person shitting on the helmet about the cacti. Okay?
But it doesn't.
That's crazy.
I'm agreeing with you though because it's Texas, but it's not really. It's what they think Texas is. And as somebody from Arizona, I feel like my identity is being stolen and used for an Austin GP.
Oh my Lord.
When Arizona is the desert that is in that picture. That is 100% an Arizona desert, and I'm infuriated actually. You should be the first comment. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
You should be the first comment to.
I'll go on with our Pitlane Pals Instagram.
No, don't. Please, let us not be known for a comment where you cook a helmet because of a wrong cactus. Jesus.
It's the whole desert though. It doesn't even look like Texas.
Oh my God, bro. Please don't. Do you know of any other special helmet?
I don't. Do you?
I don't think so either. I don't think I've seen anything. I just saw that.
Yeah.
Oscar has one, so just presumed. No, Alex Albon has one. And it's actually a very, very cute helmet. I'm going to say this. I really like it because he has decided to go back in time and make a design for his 100th GP, with the design of his first karting helmet. And it's just a cute helmet. It's just cute. It's clean.
Yeah.
I want to say I just really love the Bell helmets. Like the Bell helmets look way, way cleaner than the other brand. I don't know which one it is, but like Hülkenberg has the other one. I think it's Schubert, actually. I could be wrong, though. Hülkenberg has a different helmet. Max Verstappen also has a different helmet. And I just love the Bell helmets because I just think the visor looks way more clean.
Yeah.
In general, the design, obviously, it's not the craziest, but it's got sentimental points to it. I think it's cute. I think it's actually pretty impressive
I
how
agree.
many people loved, like how many karting drivers that got to be F1 drivers or are F1 drivers loved Valentino Rosso back in the day. Because the doctor thing is his thing, right?
I think so.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Um,
Oh, I was gonna say I would give Piastri's specifically because I'm petty.
oh shit, we forgot to rate it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a 4, and I'd give Albon's a 7.5.
I'm going to agree with you on Albon, 7.5 also. It's just a cute livery. It's just cute. I think it's really, really
It's cute.
cute. Piastri is a 4. I'm a big defender of a helmet. If you do a special helmet, it needs to also look good. And just using like
The wrong cactus.
just using the wrong cactus,
Just
just
saying.
like a Texas scenery, it's just not gonna cut it for me personally. If you cool idea for an F1 helmet, if you were to use like for the whole helmet, use like I don't know pattern of a cowboy boot, and then make like a cool pattern with it. That's a cool helmet.
I can get behind that.
But just like throwing on a scenery, yeah, gonna give it a 5.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I won't argue with you too hard on that, but I do think it would have been a 5 if it wasn't for the lack of geography knowledge in the cactus world. Anyways, regardless, I digress. I think that's all we have to talk about today. I guess. Oh wait, no,
One
I
quick
forgot
mention
for a
also.
second.
I have one quick more mention.
Okay.
One quick mention. Binotto said that Mick Schumacher is actually a serious candidate for the upcoming Audi seat, which I feel like is very, very.
I don't.
Oh,
I don't mean to be a Mick Schumacher hater, but I just don't think that's gonna work out very well.
the thing is, he performed in the Alpine in the LMP2 race. They got onto the podium, and it was in his stint where they ended up on the podium. I
Yeah, it's just
am German though,
there's a skill gap.
so
I know. You got Hulkenberg though. Can you just
I don't know.
be happy?
I don't know. Hulkenberg is like,
Yeah, Hulkenberg in the Audi already. It's okay. All is well.
you know, Audi would love a full German lineup.
Yeah, because they're actually truly German, unlike the Mercedes team.
Facts.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm gonna keep it short. I just don't. I think Mick had his chance, but if he comes back, I mean, they're not gonna listen to me and be like, well, Caden from the Pitlane Pals said not to sign him, so we're not gonna do it. So I'm not gonna be like rooting against him necessarily. I just do think though that he had his chance, and I do think the only reason he continues to get one more than other drivers did or will is partly because of the Schumacher name tied to his
100%.
signature. So we did forget though for a second to do predictions.
Oh yeah.
We have 3 race predictions before the Austin Grand Prix, which we will review in our Grand Prix recap. And I got to think really quick. But I think my first prediction is going to be that the Haas will finish outside of the points this weekend.
Oof. Okay.
Just, and the only reason I say that is because I said they were going to be in the points last weekend and last time in Singapore, and I'm just giving it a fuck it prediction because I want to see, maybe they'll just, they did too good last time, so now I need them to, I'm gonna double down on the opposite, and I'm gonna follow up that they will finish outside the points despite all the new Toyota funding, but they will bounce back probably soon. I'm not a Haas hater. I just think that might not be their weekend.
Fair.
My second prediction, I'm gonna say, is, this is tricky. I'm trying to think right now of race predictions, and I'm kind of It's been too long. I haven't seen practice either.
We're fully going
Liam
from
Lawson,
blank. We have no idea about performance at all.
yeah. Liam Lawson will finish behind Yuki Tsunoda this weekend.
Oh, I'm gonna turn that one around.
Okay. Liam Lawson will finish behind Yuki Tsunoda this weekend. If you want, I'm not going to add this as a part of my actual prediction, but if we're getting into it, I'm going to say that he will probably I think he'll out-qualify Yuki, but Yuki will have a better race.
Okay.
I don't know why that is. I just think that sometimes people come in qualifying and they do really well, but then like when the race pace shows, and sometimes they show that they still are young and need to work on things. So I think Yuki will finish ahead of Liam Lawson in the final race, at the end of the race. And my final prediction is Mercedes will show better pace this weekend. The way I'll dictate that will be I think they'll finish. There'll be at least a Mercedes in P4.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because, like a P4 or higher, by the way, I mean like any of those spots by one of the Mercedes. I feel like they've been quiet lately, and I think that they probably have had some time to work out some of their quirks and maybe bounce back a little bit, because of the weird break we've had here. So I'm just thinking maybe they got something right this weekend, and maybe they'll perform well. Because their car was illegal, but last year Lewis did get P2 on the track before he was disqualified. So maybe this is just a track that works for the Mercedes, although it's a very different car this year. But still, I'm going to say they'll finish in the top 4.
Okay. Whew. All right. First one. I'm saying Sergio Perez will not be seen in the top 5 all weekend. I feel like that's quite the safe one.
Okay.
That was quite the cooking comment. I'm sorry, Sergio.
Hating her.
Second one will be Liam Lawson is going to out-qualify and out-finish Yuki Tsunoda in the race and quali. So Liam Lawson is going to be dominating this weekend in the Visa Cash App RB Garage.
Okay.
And lastly, should it go like bold? Max Verstappen is going to DNF this weekend.
I wanted to say that for a second.
I feel it tingling. It's going to happen.
But I realized that was probably more of a hope than a prediction.
Hey, no hoping here. Just a prediction.
Just a prediction. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It's bold. If it happens though, like I'll give you like your flowers.
God, don't give me flowers, please. But at least like give me like 2 points for it.
You seem like a rose kind of guy.
What color?
Give you some roses.
What color?
White.
Fair.
Yeah. More like stale than loved ones. Anyways,
that's so fucked up. Getting cooked for flowers is crazy.
Anyways, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Pitlane Pals Formula One podcast. We will be back with a Grand Prix recap after the race takes place in Austin. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the places. Pitlane Pals, you'll find us if you just search up that. I think we've gotten enough of traction to be one of the top searches. So if you search that up, you should be there. Yeah, thank you for watching or listening, depending on how you consumed this today. And goodbye.
Goodbye.